Together for our Health Roundtable discussion begins now. Presented by South Texas Health System.
The number of cases of diabetes here in the RGV continues to grow. Tonight, you'll learn more about this disease, where we are, and the efforts being made to turn things around. And these are some of the people involved in the fight. They're joining us tonight. Dr. Monzor Yaji is joining us. Thank you so much for being here. And now sitting on the other side of me, we have Dr. Adrian Sandoval from UT RGV School of Medicine. Thank you so much for being here. We have Dr. Janani Krishnaswamy with UT RGV also. Dr. K, we're going to call you affectionately during this little roundtable discussion. We also have Dr. Elizabeth Palacios joining us today. You are with the School of Rehabilitative Services and Counseling?
Correct.
Correct. Thank you so much. Eddie Olivares, a familiar face at Channel 5 with the Hidalgo County Health Department. Thanks so much. And then across from Eddie, we have Dr. Stephen Lieberman. Thank you so much also, Dr. Lieberman, for being with us. You are the Dean at the School of Medicine of UT RGV. Thank you. And of course, Esmeralda Guajardo, thanks so much for also being with us today, Cameron County Health Department. We are so thankful that you're here to share some very important information with us. So we're going to get started right away, and we're going to start with the basic stuff. I hope you guys don't mind. How do you know if you have diabetes? Dr. Yaji, I'm going to ask you to answer that.
Yes, I mean, there is really several symptoms. Sometimes you don't feel anything at the beginning. You might feel just normal, and that's what really a lot of people, but you might have some weakness, tiredness, and sometimes you feel thirsty, you want to drink more water. You find yourself sometimes going to the bathroom more than often. This all signs. Sometimes if you have a cut yourself, it takes time to heal, longer than usual, getting more infection. Therefore, it's good to screen yourself once a year to be in the safe side. That's what I recommend for everyone.
Okay, so we're going to talk about type 1 and type 2 diabetes too. There is definitely a difference. Dr. K, you want to explain that to us?
Sure. So type 1 diabetes usually affects younger individuals, although not always, and it's an autoimmune disease, tends to actually correspond with the absence of insulin, which is a hormone that helps to control your blood sugar. Type 2 diabetes is also known as adult onset diabetes, and that often is influenced by lifestyle factors, so your behaviors. It can be influenced by your weight, it can be influenced by your diet, as well as family history. But several other environmental exposures can bring on type 2 diabetes.
We do want to talk about all those things too. We're going to get to them right now. But we've mentioned some symptoms. So does anyone want to chime in? Symptoms, Eddie, what symptoms that we should probably look out for?
I think one of the things, Dr. Krishnaswamy brought it up, and Dr. Yashi, one of the main concerns is initially some of the symptoms might not be present, but the excessive urination, a lot of drinking of water, always being thirsty. That's really important. You might even have some complications with your weight and some of the other issues involved with that. But this is an illness that affects several systems in your body. So you may be having complications with some cardiovascular issues. Diabetes affects every system in your body. So it's real important that you discuss that with your physician.
Is there a physical symptom? Is there something that you would specifically look out for?
It's the combination of the symptoms that have been mentioned. Some people also have blurred vision as one of the early symptoms. And as Dr. Yaji pointed out, many people have no symptoms. And particularly if there's a strong family history of diabetes, particularly with type 2 diabetes, it's really important to be checked regularly.
We hear, I think, often about the mark. There's a mark you can tell behind the neck for a child. Is this a myth? Is this the truth? Is this something we should look out for, that mark that's behind your neck?
Yeah, this is one of the early signs into childhood, that way when you have, we call it acanthosis nigricans, which you have darkness in your neck or sometimes in your arm. And this is a sign of that you have extra insulin. It's a sign you see.
And we said too, you can feel great and have diabetes, and you may not know it. You want to address that?
Yes, so a lot of times diabetes is maybe asymptomatic, which means it doesn't necessarily have symptoms. A lot of times though, you may notice subtle things like infections that don't heal. So for women, a lot of times they get a lot of urinary tract infections, or they may have, as Dr. Yazji mentioned, cuts that don't heal, boils or blisters, especially in kids. So there are a variety of symptoms, but they tend to be more subtle. There's not necessarily one sign that points to diabetes, and that's what can make it so complicated.
If you have a history of family, your mom, your dad, or somebody in your family, that's by itself big risk that warn you to go and be checked, regardless what any symptoms. Also the circumference of the waist also, that if you have for male, more than 36 this is inches, and for female also 40 for male and 36 for female. That's another sign. And normal blood sugar, this is what a lot of misunderstanding, does not rule out you're not diabetics. That's, like you call it, like a random finger stick.
The finger,
right. That's not like, doesn't mean if I'm normal, then I'm not diabetic and I forget about it. You should really take it seriously to physician and make sure he run all the risk factor and everything and to tell you yes or not.
Would we look for something different in an adult or a child?
Yes.
Are there going to be different symptoms?
Yes, I mean the symptom, in general there's certain symptoms, and in the children you might find less, serious symptoms because they're still young and they are active, you don't see it. And adult you can see it earlier if your sugar go up.
And a lot of times, as I was mentioning, type 1 diabetes used to be known as juvenile diabetes and would tend to affect kids. One of the worrisome signs that we are seeing nationwide, but also especially in the Rio Grande Valley, is adult onset diabetes in a childhood population. And that's very worrisome because that's not something that was seen before. But now we, as clinicians, have to be looking for type 2 diabetes in a younger population.
Okay, well, we're going to talk about that when we come back. So we're going to take a quick break. We're going to learn more about the ways we can diagnose diabetes, changes that we have to do in lifestyle to manage diabetes, and also the effect that it has, I think, sometimes on a psychological level as well, because it does affect everybody in a different way, I think. We're going to come right back. Don't go away.